Hi guys, Rumblysuperset here, back again, this time doing another update video. Some news that Vainglory dropped on their Twitter about the new hero. They released the name, the splash art, as well as the gameplay footage showing off the abilities in the hero itself. So, without further ado, the name is Flicker, and it is this purple rabbit slash cat thing. So, I know a lot of you guys already have seen it, a lot of you guys already know about the abilities, but for those who do not, those who do not pay attention to specific Twitter pages, or just some videos that have been leaked, here you are. This video is for you. So again, we have this purple fluffy thing, and he has a lantern with some fairies. Apparently those fairies are the source of his power, or I don't know if it's the lantern and the fairies just like being there, but the fairies themselves do a lot of his abilities, it seems like. So again, he's a great addition to the household, I think, personally, because there's been this very cut and paste type of hero additions coming to the game. You know, you have the last few heroes have been kind of very similar in terms of how they look. They're all human. They all have very standard type of abilities, and this one kind of deviates from that. It's obviously not human. It's far from what the others are like, and the power source is not like some weapon. It's more so like this lantern with fairies, and it's a little bit different. It's the first addition to the game that was really unique since Finn, I think, personally. Outside of that, I don't think anybody else was very unique in my own thoughts. I think it was pretty standard. But anyways, let's go ahead and go down to the hero abilities. So we have Will-O-Wisp heroic perk. Flicker gains stealth and a move speed when in brush for a short duration. Flicker can then leave the brush and remain stealth for a time, taking damage or using abilities to remove stealth. So you can only be in stealth when you're in a brush. You can move out of there and remain stealth as long as you re-enter a brush during the duration of the stealth that it provides. I think it's like 2 or 3 seconds, something like that. If you are not in a brush after leaving the first initial brush, you will be revealed. So it's not a permanent stealth, or I don't want to say permanent, but it's not a prolonged stealth wherever you're at, like Taka or Kestrel. It's dependent on being in a brush. So it's a kind of a unique approach to a stealth mechanic, a little bit different than Taka and Kestrel in its own right. And so therefore you're going to use it a little bit differently. I think he's going to have an amazing gank potential because he can just remain stealth indefinitely in a brush, so long as he's not flared or has a scout trap near him. So that's going to be interesting. But let's go ahead and talk about the Binding Light, his A ability. Flicker commands his fairies to swarm a target location, dealing damage to enemies standing within it. So it's AoE damage within a certain radius. I think the radius is about the same size as Jules' jump. When the effect expires, Fairy Light roots an enemy hero still within the area. So after X amount of seconds of being in that swarm, the enemy hero will be rooted, meaning he cannot move. Fairy Dust, which is the B ability. Flicker swirls fairy dust around him, slowing and dealing damage to anyone inside the dusted area. After a short duration, the dust ignites, dealing a burst of damage. So again, it's another AoE slow / damage, and after the duration, it explodes, dealing a burst damage. So I can definitely see where Flicker can be pretty formidable as a mage. I don't think he's going to be used in lane simply because of the fact that he's like Rhyme. Rhyme is a mage, but he has melee basic attacks. Same thing with Flicker. Flicker has melee basic attacks. And so therefore, I think that he could be used as a jungler, potentially, and he'll have good wave clear because of the AoE damage over times from his A and B. But I think his early game is going to be really weak, personally. He's going to be more of a mid-game. He gets that ultimate. I think that's going to be his power spike. And when he starts getting some CP items under his belt, that's going to be another huge power spike under his belt because of the fact of the ratios. I'm sure are going to be fairly decent. It seems like a lot of the roamers have some decent ratios on their offensive counterparts. And then we have Mooncloak, which is the ultimate. Flicker and his allies temporarily gain stealth and a move speed bonus. The stealth will break when a hero uses an ability, attacks, or takes damage. So this kind of is interesting. I don't know if I interpret this right, but it seems like Flicker and himself will get stealth and movement speed. But if a hero uses an ability, meaning it can be any of the 3 heroes, yourself or your 2 allies, attacks or takes damage, it sounds like it breaks all stealth. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if it's going to break everyone's stealth or if it's just going to break the individual person's stealth. I have to test that. But let's go ahead and just review the video, and then we'll talk about just how I think this is going to change the meta or what people are going to be doing. We kind of already talked about in the last video, but I want to do it again since we know the abilities. Let's go ahead and give it some sound here. There we go. There is the passive, the perk. There is the A coming up here.
Right in the crickets.
That's pretty cool. And then we have the B.
Cover me, ladies.
That's a pretty strong slow, personally. That's really strong, actually. I can see where he'll combine the B with the A in order to get that rear. And there is the AoE stealth. So let's go ahead and play that again. So again, like I said, I think the B and the A are going to be the combo. You're going to use the B when they're nearby, get that slow as well as the damage, apply the A underneath them, and they're slowed so much that the A is going to be underneath that hero for a long time and root them. And then you get that burst from the B. So it's kind of a good combo. And then obviously you have your ultimate for engagements or to run away maybe. Who knows? So there we go. That is pretty cool. I'm pretty, like I said, I'm pretty excited about it. I think that it's going to be a lot of changing the meta with this. A lot of people are going to be leaning towards contraptions, scout traps, flares in order to combat this particular hero. Or maybe people are going to start experimenting with the triple stealth team. Taka, Kestrel Lane, Taka Jungle, and this guy Roam. Or maybe Taka Roam, who knows. But it's going to be interesting because I'm pretty sure someone's going to do it. I'll probably make a video on it and see how it goes. But do keep in mind, I don't know how squishy he is, but I feel like anybody who has stealth is generally squishy in some sort of fashion, because that should be the drawback, is that they can be unseen, but when they are seen, they're their most vulnerable. And so I would assume that his health pool is going to be a little bit lower, so he's going to be kind of like a fortress in a sense. He's more of an aggressive roam, but his power is not going to be so much in the beginning, but more so in the late game, because fortress is a little bit stronger in the beginning as far as survivability and output, I think, personally. And he has some pretty good chase abilities, whereas this guy, he'll have his, his slow potentially, or his A, one of the two, but having the AoE stealth is going to be amazing. That's going to be his power spike when he hits level 6, and then potentially, I don't know the overdrives yet on the abilities, but one of those might be one of his other power spikes. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what is leaned towards more too. But with Lyra, she was used more as a laner personally, and I think she's slowly transitioning into a roamer now because she's not as strong as a laner. And I want to see if this guy's going to be remaining a roamer from the get-go, his suggested role, or if people are going to start pushing towards a jungle flicker, or maybe, who knows, maybe they'll do a laner flicker, but I don't think that they will because of his melee basic attacks. That's going to really limit him as far as farming, because he can get poked and it's going to be pretty detrimental. Unless he gets a eulogies, maybe he can make it work. I don't know. I'm not saying I played him a lot to know if he can do this effectively. I haven't really played him in any matches yet. I've only played him in a private bot match. This is me against bots. So I can't really say that's a proper representation of the hero. But there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this news update of Flicker. Again, I know some of you guys already know about the details of Flicker, what he looked like, what his abilities did. And this video is obviously for you as well if you want to know, you want to get another glance at it. But it's primarily for those who did not see that because they don't go on Twitter or they haven't really been keeping up with the news in general. And so therefore I make these videos for you guys. And again, if you guys haven't already, Chief Matt and Commander Alex both do news feeds as well on their channels, so definitely check them out if you want to hear about their opinions on the heroes or on any news that's coming up. But yeah, check them out. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Later!